Hi everyone and welcome back. Today I'm going to divert away from my tofu series for a short while. There will be another video coming up very soon. It's a 3-layered Wellington. Hope you like it. Do let me know if you've got any questions. I really do hope you like it. There are a few parts to it, so I will try and keep it as brief as possible. I hope you enjoy the video. First step in this Wellington is going to be the parsnip and potato layer. I've used 3 small parsnips and then I've used 3 baking potatoes. So that's the first ingredient. Next thing you're going to need, we're going to make a rosemary oil. So we're going to use some fresh rosemary and some good quality olive oil. But I've also got Maldon sea salt and some cracked black pepper. These into a frying pan. I'm going to soften up the rosemary and then I'm going to discard it after it's been cooked, which is going to then be put into the potatoes ready to roast. So at this point, preheat your oven. Okay, so now I've removed the oil from the pan. I'm going to take my potatoes and I'm just, as you can see, I've popped already into this, my salt and pepper. So now I'm going to pour this rosemary oil in there. I'm going to take a towel because it is very hot, so just please be careful and just tip it in there. You can hear it sizzling. So now I'm going to add this to my preheated oven. It's preheated to 160 degrees Celsius and they are ready when they are soft in the middle and they have a nice brown colour. What I've got here is some delicious vegan cocktail sausages. They have Cumberland seasoning. I think Waitrose have an excellent range of product. And what I'm going to do is simply open them up and mash it in there, just like that. Right, I think that's enough. I'm going to put these sausages to one side. You're also going to need white onion chopped and a little bit of thyme. So I'm just going to wash my hands and I'll be back in a minute. Right, nice and clean hands now. So I'm just going to rip up some of this thyme. So just take all of the thyme. So the best way to do it is just to put it the wrong way down the stalk like that. So yeah, just keep going until your taste really. I like the flavour of thyme, so I'm going to put a good few stalks in there. Obviously not the actual stalk, don't put this bit in, it's just not palatable. So just try and pick out any of the large pieces. Right, so that's fine. You can add more if you want. And remember that these sausages are already seasoned, so they are going to have a nice flavour anyway. And then just add in your onion as you wish. These onions will cook down when you put it in the oven. Also just choose whatever kind of sausage that you want. You don't have to pick this one, and obviously if you're not in the UK, which a lot of my blog subscribers are not, you can use bologna or anything you want really. Anything that you think would give you a nice kind of a sausage meat paste here like this. Depending on the type of sausage meat you're using, you may need to use a little bit of flour. Back to our parsnips and potatoes, I've just taken them out of the oven before I prep my next step, which is the stuffing, and I've just given them a little stir because they were catching on the edges, because now is kind of the only time you can do that. They should be starting to get soft. You can see, where are we? There we go. You can see that the edges are browning. That's great. It's going to add loads of flavour, and then the oil is sizzling away. It smells absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to pop them back in. Okay, so the final layer. First of all, I've got some mixed grains and pulses. This is wheat berries, lentils, green vegetables, kale. There's a little bit of salt and pepper in here. I've got little tiny chunks of aubergine. Basically, I just want a little bit of texture. That is roughly, oh, there's some quinoa in here as well. So I just wanted some different texture in there. So that's the first ingredient and the base. The second thing is this delicious ciabatta bread, which I've just put into chunks. It's going to help bind the whole thing. This is the remainder of the onion that I used in the sausage meat. So it's about half an onion. And this is just some stock that I have added a little bit of water into. Add this sparingly if you need it. You don't want it to be too sloppy. And I'm going to use the oil again, which I showed you earlier in the video. I'm also going to add in a tiny little bit this dairy-free pure sunflower spread butter. I like to use both because they have different flavours and it adds a nice depth. The first thing you're going to do is fry up your onions in the olive oil and the butter if you're using it. Your greens, followed by your bread, followed by your stock. And then when everything's kind of mulched together, you take it out and we're ready to rock and roll with our layering. Okay, so this is where we are with the potatoes and the parsnips. To transfer them into a bowl because this glass dish is piping hot, and then I'm going to mash them down. Right, so I've been at this with my masher now, and I've just got it down to a rough mash. So this is now ready for our bottom layer. So this is the stuffing now. Okay, this needs to cool down. I'm going to transfer it to a bowl, leave it in the fridge or the freezer just to get it super cold. It's going to bond together. I have pre-lined a baking sheet with some tin foil, and then I've added my pastry. This is shop-bought pastry, and I've left some of the greaseproof underneath because we're going to roll it up, and it's just a lot easier to manage than with your hands because you can get sticky and hot. And I've put some prick marks on the bottom because there's going to be a lot of kind of steam to come out, and what we don't want is for everything to get a bit soggy on the bottom. So the first layer I'm going to do is the potato and parsnips, and I'm just going to pop them on the bottom there. Spread them out as thinly as you like. When you do this, you need to keep a gap here. And then the next layer I'm going to add in is my vegan sausage meat, thyme and onion. So I'm going to take about half of this, and this is the main layer, so this is the one that I'm going to put more in of, but then you just kind of pressing it down on top like that. I actually think I'm going to just fill this up a little bit more. So let's pop that on there. You're kind of making a vaguely sausagey type shape. Now I'm going to use my fig jam. So this is the jam that I normally use, okay, and this is the one that I found that I actually think I'm going to use this time, and this is actually called sticky fig relish. So yeah, it's going to give it a really rich flavour. If you don't like chili, this is not the one I would use for you because it is a little bit spicy, and if you want something more sweet, definitely get yourself some of this one because it is absolutely delicious in this. So here's the homemade stuffing. It's been in the fridge. What I do when I put this in the fridge, by the way, is just to quicken up the process, is to spread it out on a plate. So just spread out on a plate, and then it's going to be easier to handle. Again, as much as you want, but just remember you have got to close this up. So now I'm going to start rolling it up. So I'm going to take the edges, and you'll now see this is why I use the greaseproof paper still on the edges, because you just literally wrap it over and then you just peel it off like that, and it's just the easiest way to do it. So then you just bring it up and meet it over at the top and peel off again. So just press it in because we're going to cut the top, so we just want to make sure that this is all bonded. Because my room is quite warm, pastry will be malleable, but don't stretch it too much because it will rip, and you want the pastry to be as thick as you can, because if it gets weak on the edges, your filling will kind of burst out, so don't pull it and stretch it too much. I would give it about an inch from the edge and just slice it off like this. I'm just going to take my fork and I'm just going to press it in nice and evenly on the edges. Same on the other side. Do a simple thing, but you can get more creative if you want. So yes, I'm going to wash it with some plant milk. I'm using just oat milk, and then I'm going to pop it in until it's browned, and then I'm going to open it up and let you see what it looks like inside. Well, everybody, the Wellington's now out of the oven. Just let it rest. Don't cut it immediately after it comes out of the oven because there's still a lot of steam, which means the inside is going to be really soft. When you cut this Wellington, cut it from the left or forwards to back like this through the actual slices that are open there, because if you don't, it will crumble. So I hope you enjoy this. I'm going to pop the pictures at the end of the video so you can see what it looks like when it's cut up. But like I say, wait until it cools first so you get some nice even slices. So I really hope you give this a try. And yes, let me know what you think, and please remember to rate, subscribe and comment. Delicious. Enjoy, guys.